Good afternoon, North America, or just the Western Hemisphere in general, and good evening to Europe, and good morning to the Pacific Rim. And thank you very much for joining the Angry Astronaut. We're taking on a different sort of topic. I attack Blue Origin on a regular basis, but this is a little bit different, and it was spurred into action by an article that I saw. I saw an article in Space News, I think, or someplace like that. Actually, it was in Business Insider, if I remember correctly now, that was talking about how Blue Origin can't keep up with the demand, that they have literally thousands of people who are bidding for seats on the New Shepard New Shepard flights. So here's the deal. Carl Magnus, thank you so much for your help right off the bat. I'll tell you, it makes a big difference to me right now. Thanks so much. So what is it about New Shepard that's getting this kind of demand? Because keep in mind, the first ticket that went on New Shepard was nearly $30 million, an insane amount of money, about half of what it would cost to send up an entire crew of astronauts on the Crew Dragon. I mean, what the hell? What is the point? Why are people doing this? I can understand the celebrities because they get to go up for free. I get that, of course. And they're promoting it. It's an exciting 10-minute suborbital bungee jump, as I have said before. Sure, maybe it's an exciting experience, but millions and millions of dollars to do it? Why? Well, I'm beginning to think that the reason that this has become, such a phenomenon, and by the way, I'm going to tell you in a moment why I think it's a bad thing that this is a phenomenon, but a reason that it's a phenomenon is because you get to go to space real quick, come back down, and it's over. It's not a several day odyssey the way that Inspiration was. It's not a difficult endeavor where you have to, train to be an astronaut and you have to go through all these extreme G forces. But not the most important thing, I think, is the days and days that you spend in microgravity, perhaps getting sick in the process, and also, cooped up for days with several strangers, shall we say, all of whom, if they were all paying a lot of money to go, then we're talking a lot of paying customers, people who have paid really good money to be cooped up in a small capsule for a very long stretch of time. Whereas, on New Shepard, you get to go up and, float around for a few minutes. Oh boy, isn't that fun? Float back down and you're done. And, the fact that people are willing to spend millions or tens of millions of dollars for this kind of experience is beyond belief. It's so difficult to understand. It's so difficult for the average person to understand. And that's why this is a problem. This is giving space tourism a bad name. It's giving the whole industry a bad name. Instead, what this is doing is it is demonstrating to the public, to the people of the world, that there are people out there who are swimming in so much cash that they can spend 10, 20, $25 million to spend 10 minutes on this experience. I mean, come on, it's nuts, absolutely nuts. And yes, we do have Virgin Galactic, perhaps competing here for, $400,000. Once he's in that position, that's going to change things radically. And he has a lot of people lined up. But here's the problem. VSS Unity is not yet a proven product. Yes, it has worked, but can it handle a rapid cadence of flights? Can it go up and down on a regular basis without any serious issues? So far, it hasn't proven that. And as a matter of fact, its next flight is not going to involve it's simply not going to involve the general public. Instead, the next flight of VSS Unity is going to have some Italian researchers on board who are going to take advantage of that few minutes in microgravity for scientific reasons. So really, for right now, we have Blue Origin with a complete stranglehold, a monopoly on this kind of strange space tourism. And it's a problem, first of all, because it's providing a great deal of revenue, well, to Blue Origin, sometimes to charities, which is a good thing. But the reason that it's a bad thing is because only the insanely rich or the incredibly, well-known, the big celebrities of the world, these are the only ones who get to go. These are the only ones who get to fly just for 10 friggin' minutes. Are you kidding me? Thank you so much for the £5, by the way. Really do appreciate that, Matthew. I think that's what we had there. Sorry, my screen goes a little blurry every now and then. This is a transatlantic thing that we have going on, and every now and then we have some issues with that. So that's where I have the problem. It's giving space tourism and the commercialization of space a bad name. It's making it really clear that only the insanely rich get to experience that, and that is just annoying as hell. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate the 20 Canadian. Very nice of you. I think it's Lewis. I'm sorry. Yeah, and it's Verno, I believe. Thank you so much for your support as well. If I mispronounced your name, I do apologize. So let me forgive me. And by the way, I'm drinking from a Boeing cup to demonstrate to you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to my damn channel. Please subscribe, because once I get to that 90,000 point, I am going to be blowing up a Blue Origin and Boeing 2-stage coffee cup rocket. That will be an interesting experience, to say the least. It should be an interesting thing indeed. So, here's why I am reaching out to Elon Musk, or why I entitled this video the way that I did. Why don't we use Crew Dragon for what New Shepard is being used for, but use it in a more, the answer is yes. Sorry, nodding to my partner in crime. Why can't we use Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 to provide a much better experience for the same price? Advertise space tourism the same way, and it's not going to cost any more money, is it? Because if we're talking $60 million a flight, if you have 4 people on the flight, it's $15 million a piece. Or if you have 6 people on the flight, because theoretically, Crew Dragon for a short term can handle a crew of 6 or 7, so you can get the price down even further. And instead of sending Crew Dragon up for days and days, give it a couple orbits. Have it orbit the planet twice and re-enter. Something along those lines. Make it or just, customize it to the customer. Make it a 3-hour flight. Make it a, 4.5-hour flight. Each orbit of the planet is 90 minutes. And so you could provide an actual orbital trip to a customer without them having to be stuck up there for days and days. And it would be New Shepard times a billion as far as the experience is concerned. Obviously, there are complications involved. These people would have to be far more thoroughly trained than the New Shepard astronauts would be. But think about it, guys. Think about how attractive this would be to somebody who's thinking about bidding $20 million to fly on New Shepard anyway. How attractive would it be to instead orbit the entire planet? You get to see the whole of our home, once, twice, 3 times before you re-enter. What an experience that might be. So here's another question that might come up as a result of this, though. How are we going to do it? Aren't we overloaded at Cape Canaveral already? Don't we have enough, Falcon 9s going up already? Aren't they overloaded for flights as it is? Well, here is the solution to that. We can launch, or SpaceX rather, can launch Falcon 9s from Boca Chica right now. They have approval from the FAA to fly both Falcon Heavy and Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 from Boca Chica right now. Let's make Boca Chica into Starbase immediately. Why not? Start shipping Falcon 9 rockets and Crew Dragons to Starbase, to the real Starbase, not the fake Starbase in Nevada, but the real Starbase in Boca Chica, and send people to orbit. They're already willing to pay tens of millions of dollars for an experience of just a few minutes in in just a few minutes in microgravity. Yeah, what an amazing thing. And by the way, there is a flight going up Polaris Dawn. We did talk about that. I've talked about that in a recent video. Johnny Spacer, thank you so much. A Crew Dragon facility in Dubai. What a cool idea that would be. Why not, right? Pretty close to the equator, and send these incredibly wealthy people up from Dubai. What an amazing thing that would be. But yeah, Polaris Dawn, I did discuss that in a recent video that I just came out with. But once again, this is the same guy. The same guy who did Inspiration is going to be doing this flight as well. It's starting to indicate that only a limited number of people really want to spend millions of dollars to experience several days in orbit for some reason. But what if they only go up for a few hours and come back down? Right now, they're paying millions of dollars for 10 minutes. Why not, orbit the Earth? I think that it would be a very compelling thing indeed. But if Bezos doesn't privatize space tourism, this is a comment that we have. Thank you so much for the super chat. We won't get to see celebrity vacation pics in zero G. Oh no, what a tragedy that would be. But also, there's no reason why we can't have celebrities flying on these things as well. Why not? And not only that, a celebrity might actually pay tens of millions of dollars to go for that kind of experience. Chris says we want launches from the UK. Thank you very much for the 10 quid. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, well, there'll be launches from the UK soon. And of course, a manned space flight program. And incidentally, I have an upcoming video about that. I did release a video about the European Space Agency utilizing the Dream Chaser for manned space flight. And guess what? That has already been investigated. I found an in-depth report that was put out by the ESA, actually by the German Space Agency, investigating that very possibility several years ago. The Mad Lawyer has something to say here. If a person has the money, let them spend it. Super Bowl tickets are ungodly expensive. Tesla's too expensive. Who cares if billionaires want to blow their money? This is capitalism. The Mad Lawyer, I agree with you in principle. Absolutely. I agree with you intellectually. The problem is, from an emotional standpoint, from the reputation of spaceflight, the reputation of the commercialization of space is being ruined, is being trashed in public by the media, by prominent personalities who are pitching a fit every time these people fly to orbit. But what happens if these people, rather when they just fly to suborbital, space, what happens if they get to go to orbit, take a few, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, something like that in orbit before they come back down? Plenty of time to carry out some scientific experiments for charities in microgravity while they're enjoying their experience at the same time. Why not make a big industry out of this? I see no reason why SpaceX cannot crush New Shepard. And once again, this may sound like I'm just hating on Blue Origin fanatically, and maybe I am a little bit, but you know what? Right now, I don't like where Blue Origin is taking the whole private space flight industry and its reputation. I don't like what's going on with it. I don't like Jeff Bezos making a huge deal out of these flights and pinning astronaut wings on these rich people, and all that, and people getting aggravated over it. I don't like that. Instead, what we should be doing is make something substantial out of this, make it into a true adventure, make it into something that could have a benefit for mankind at the same same time as these wealthy people are enjoying themselves. And by the way, that is also exactly what Axiom Space is doing. Thank you very much, Mars Embassy, by the way, for the $10 US. Very nice of you. Yes, down with Blue Origin. Absolutely. And by the way, Mars Embassy, great channel on YouTube. Please like, please subscribe his channel. Please like this channel as well. We have almost 300 people watching. I don't think we even have 100 likes yet. So from what I've been told anyway, please like, please subscribe, guys, if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy what I have to say about what's going on right now. I really think that this is something that's practical, something that could earn SpaceX a substantial amount of revenue. Right now, the money they're getting out of Crew Dragon is primarily coming out of NASA, with a couple of private flights here or there. That could change radically if Crew Dragon was going up every few days, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks, as opposed to once every few months. Now, is that possible? Could you turn Crew Dragon around that fast? Well, we have demonstrated that we can turn, a Falcon 9 booster around incredibly fast in just a couple of weeks. Why can't we turn Crew Dragon around just as fast? And I feel that this is an important issue, because the fact of the matter is Blue Origin is already publicly announced. And once again, I'm going to repeat this for those of you who have joined late, that they have thousands of people who are willing to bid on going up on New Shepard. They need to build a ton of new rockets, according to them. They're going to make a massive industry out of these silly suborbital bungee jumps. Somebody needs to compete with them. And I think that somebody right now is SpaceX. Perhaps that somebody could be in the future Virgin Galactic, but as of right now, VSS Unity is still not there. Let's see. Okay, what do we have here? The message is that SpaceX should change its entire business plan because Blue Origin is getting bad press. No, that's not my point at all. They shouldn't change their business strategy. Add space tourism to the business strategy. I mean, they kind of do anyway as it is. Have a look at their website. Have a look at Crew Dragon and what they describe, the experience that they describe on there. They're trying to attract customers. They're trying to attract public flights. So why not invest in a public flight that might be more attractive to the average person who doesn't want to spend 3 or 4 days in orbit, but instead might want to spend 3 or 4 hours in orbit and be willing to pay millions of dollars to do it, especially if there's profit in it? Because right now, SpaceX is already talking about doing this sort of thing anyway, doing point-to-point transportation using Starship, which is years and years and years away. But guess what? They could demonstrate to the world how that might be possible. How, depending, perhaps they splash down someplace, off the coast of Japan or something along those lines. Send it someplace else. Make it an actual transport experience. Obviously, it would be an impractical one. It would be mostly about the experience, not about, anything practical or anything. But what is practical about New Shepard? What's practical about it at all? Nothing at all whatsoever. Wow. Thank you so much for that super chat. Don't always agree with you, but this is a banger idea. Thank you so much. Side note, we're in a holding pattern until 2025 on Artemis. It'll happen quickly once Bridenstine is back. Yep. It could be if he is indeed brought back. FAA administrator announced he's resigning. Yes, that is a very good point that's just brought up. Thanks so much for those super chats, by the way, guys. That makes such a huge, massive difference to my channel and to the content that I can put out. But yes, that is a big issue that has recently come up, especially the timing. This individual is resigning on March 28th. Strange coincidence, huh? On the very, very day that they're supposed to provide the decision on Starship in Boca Chica. That is such a strange coincidence. Why is that happening? Haven't the slightest idea. Does that mean good things for Starship? Does that mean bad things for Starship? I have no idea. But one thing is certain: if Starship, to go get off track a little bit, if Starship is not approved by the FAA, or if far more in depth work has to be done on Starship and on the environmental concerns in Boca Chica, if that has to be done, it's going to delay the first orbital flight of Starship for at least 6 to 8 months, and I would say quite possibly a year. And if things get put off that long, keep in mind Lunar Starship is our HLS. If the first orbital flight of HLS gets delayed by a year, do we get to the moon by 2025? I think not. I think it's highly unlikely. Point to point, Crew Dragon Falcon 9 launch from Texas, spent a couple orbits in space, splashed down near Tokyo. Yeah, why not? Wouldn't that be a neat thing? I think that that'd be an incredible experience, especially if you're spending the same money. Now, look, if people were flying on New Shepard for a few $100,000, obviously this would not be practical, but that isn't what's happening, not even remotely what's happening. Instead, people are bidding tens of millions of dollars for this 10-minute experience. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, and there are better options available. And this is something that should be made obvious to the general public, especially the incredibly wealthy public. Perhaps let's send up one celebrity to promote the whole thing, along with a few paying customers, and see what happens. Let's see if we can make this take off. Literally, I think that that would be, I really think that would be a far better thing for the general imaginations of people who want to experience space flight themselves, or just want to see it happen. If there are orbital flights happening on a regular basis, not with professional astronauts, but instead incredibly rich, but at least ordinary people doing it, I think that that could spark people's curiosity, spark their amazement. Inspiration should have done that, but unfortunately, inspiration that just it didn't have a big enough name attached to it. I think that that was the biggest problem with it. It didn't have any particular celebrity associated with the flight, that made it something that everybody would watch. Personally, I think that Bezos has a really good idea, sending up a celebrity on at least one celebrity on every one of these flights to promote it. I think that's a hell of an idea that he's been using on these things. And look at the results. Look at the results. Thousands of people bidding, incredible numbers of people willing to spend tens of millions of dollars on a 10-minute experience. Unreal. I mean, I never would have believed it. I never would have believed that this would have happened, but it is happening. And once again, it's happening because of the monopoly. Perhaps that's my biggest problem. Thank you so much for the super chat, Royal Stygian. I'm very surprised the Department of Defense isn't lobbying to fast track Starship, especially at the explosion of the Chinese space program. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I mean, they are kind of fast tracking the whole point to point use of Starship. There was a contract recently awarded to SpaceX in excess of $100 million to use Starship as a point to point transportation, not of personnel, but of cargo and equipment, emergency supplies, that sort of thing. I do apologize, guys. I'm going to go ahead and I got the live stream Q&A from my Discord up here, but unfortunately, I've got bad eyes, we'll put it that way. I'm going to catch up real quick on some of this. It's common for senior officials to align their last day to the end of a fiscal quarter for a number of reasons. This is about the FAA thing, says Darth Rust. I wouldn't assign any particular meaning to it. He was a fix-it guy brought in for the 737 debacle, and there was some drama in the air traffic control as well. That's good. I'm very glad to hear about that. By the way, these are comments from my Discord channel, from my Patreon supporters. Let me get caught up on this. Okay, I think actually I am caught up. I apologize about that. But yeah, okay. So we're caught up on the Discord comments. Let's have a look here. It's very payable for a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is just it. There are a lot of embarrassingly wealthy people on this planet. There just are. There's an insane number of people who have the money to experience this sort of thing. Why not offer them a few hours in orbit or maybe a day in orbit or something like that instead of 10 minutes suborbital? It's absurd. And really, honestly, I honestly think it is because there are not nearly as many people, at least not people with the money, who are willing to go up for days in orbit like a real astronaut. I'm not sure that that is tremendously compelling to a lot of these people. But if it was a short little experience, kind of similar to this New Shepard one, eh, then that might attract a lot more attention. I think that SpaceX should investigate it. Perhaps, I don't know, put together a focus group or something like that. Take a poll of wealthy people. It's hard to say. I'm fine with my reservation on Spaceship Earth and don't need to leave the atmosphere to enjoy being in space, which is where we are at this very moment. Very true, Michael. Very true. Spaceship Earth is indeed an important place, the place where really we should spend the vast majority of our effort, which is exactly what Elon Musk says. Let's put 99% of our effort into Earth, 1% into space, which is not what we're doing right now. Not even close. Just put 1% of the federal budget into space, and we would change everything for the future of our species. Which will happen first, in my opinion, SLS launch or Vulcan launch? Alex, SLS will fly first. You heard it here. I think SLS is going to fly first. I have it on good authority that Vulcan will not be flying until September or October of this year at the earliest. And that's the earliest that those engines are going to be ready. So, in my opinion, I do believe that that SLS will fly also. Where's my engines, Jeff? And by the way, that is another thing. Let's give Jeff a little bit of incentive to deliver on the things that are important. Greg, thank you so much, by the way. Thank you for the congratulations on the 75,000 subscribers. $75 for 75,000 subscribers. Thanks. I'm overwhelmed by your generosity. You guys are amazing. Best supporters on YouTube. You are awesome. Thank you so much for keeping this content going. I'm just so moved. Thank you so much for keeping my content and this channel continuing to go. So yeah, I mean, once again, to quickly review what we've been talking about, once again, Blue Origin has made a huge business out of suborbital space tourism. They are getting paying customers, paying $20 million a piece or more, those who are not celebrities, to fly for 10 minutes. They have a monopoly on this whole situation, and that seems to be where the vast majority of their effort is being spent. That's what they advertise about all the time. Hell, even Orbital Reef, Sierra Space, is talking about Orbital Reef 10 times as much as Blue Origin does. Go onto their Twitter accounts and have a look at how many posts we see from Sierra Space about Orbital Reef versus Blue Origin and their posts about Orbital Reef. It's pathetic. It's not even close. And yet Blue Origin is supposedly the lead contributor in this. That's where their efforts need to be focused. Things like Orbital Reef and on their damn engines, not this suborbital space tourism that's making them $20 million per seat aside from celebrities. It's absurd. And honestly, I think SpaceX can get into this industry and make themselves a good, additional revenue stream. Multiple revenue streams are always the key to success. This would be an awesome revenue stream, especially at a time when Starlink is losing the company money. It's still going to be a little while until Starlink actually starts pulling a profit for SpaceX. So guess what? Why not do this? Why not make space tourism an additional revenue stream for SpaceX? I think that that would be a fantastic thing. And I just a comment came up. Okay, to the future is not gone. I want to emphasize that, and I will emphasize that repeatedly. To the future is not gone. Instead, to the future is being taken over by another space nut who is my closest supporter and partner in crime on this channel. I have no vested interest in that channel. I make no money off of it whatsoever. And I love Sebastian and Shishwan. They were wonderful people, fantastic people. I love them. They did so much to support my channel. But I'll tell you something. If you unsubscribe from To the Future or stop watching that channel, you're going to do yourself a disservice, because the people who are taking over that channel are going to be doing some amazing work. Amazing work. To the Future did great work too. Their work was fantastic. But I'll tell you something, it's in good hands. Very good hands. So I just wanted to make certain that you knew about that. And nothing's changing aside from a new host who is an amazing host, by the way. Let me tell you something. This guy helped my channel explode the way it did. To the Future and another space nut, between the two of them, they helped this channel become what it is. So don't give up on that channel, guys. Let me tell you something. Good stuff coming from To the Future. So don't worry about that. And I will continue to plug them as time goes on. Once again, I've got no vested interest. They don't pay me anything. I just know it's going to be good content. Very good content indeed. So once again, just to sum up what we've been saying, Blue Origin is making an insane amount of money off of New Shepard. So much money and so many people interested in flushing millions of dollars down the toilet in order to get 10 minutes in suborbital flight. They were getting so many people interested in that they need to build lots of new rockets, or so they have announced. Somebody needs to compete against them and provide a much better experience. That someone is SpaceX, and the spacecraft is Crew Dragon. There are ways to do it, and the true starbase, the true place where space tourists should take off from, is Boca Chica. That is where the new starbase should be, regardless of what happens with the FAA. Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy can fly from Boca Chica. Crew Dragon can fly from Boca Chica. Starbase can be Starbase regardless of what the FAA decides to do. And that's something that I hope Elon Musk keeps in mind, and something that he looks at possibly exploiting in order to make SpaceX the center of space tourism instead of Blue Origin, who, in my opinion, is providing a substandard experience for an insane amount of money and damaging the credibility and the reputation of space tourism and the commercialization of space. So until SpaceX takes advantage of this and takes the reins of this very profitable industry, I urge all of you to stay angry about space.